I've been waiting for this night for almost 2 weeks now since I last laid eyes on Don't Worry, Darling. You guys finally got to see it. Welcome here to Midnight Movie Talk on this Thursday night. It is Don't Worry, Darling debut night across the nation. And I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen. This thing is going to outperform. You can go ahead and say the reviews aren't good, that, people aren't going to come out to see this movie. They're not interested. Let me tell you something. They are, and they're gonna be there this weekend. Let's get right to it. Let me show you this tweet I sent earlier today. This was a quick little sampling of all of the screenings that were going on right around my place here in Los Angeles. First of all, AMC Burbank 16, right down the street, and then AMC Universal, as well as Century City, which is closer to Beverly Hills. Here it is. So look at this. These are all 7:45, 7:30 screenings. So we start with the first one, and we end up here at Century City. Look at this thing. I mean, this is virtually sold out. I mean, you're looking at only the front of the theater that has a few seats, okay? And that was before showtime, so I'm sure it got even bigger. Let's go to the next one. Here it is. This is IMAX right down the street. Burbank 16. Look at this. It's at least, I would say, 80% full, right? Maybe even 85 or higher. I mean, the front rows are rarely going to be sold out. It's got to be something huge for that, okay? That looks great. Let's go here to, this is City Walk. City Walk has it on, it's not, for whatever reason, it's not on IMAX there. I don't know what and why it's not. Maybe they're still playing Moon Age Daydream there. I don't know what's going on, but look here, you can see it's largely sold. So you're looking at a really strong opening night. I think you're going to look at a number tomorrow when we get the number, whatever it is. Let's just say it's 3 million, 4 million, whatever the number is. Now it's going to be higher than most people thought. Okay, so let's get that out of the way right now. I want to make sure that that is absolutely stated. Now, the other thing I want to do here is I want to get your reaction to Don't Worry, Darling, because you know how I feel about the film. I think that it is very well crafted. Okay, Olivia Wilde is the director. Between Booksmart and now Don't Worry, Darling, knows how to make a technically sound film. Now, it helps in this case with Don't Worry, Darling, with Matthew Libatique, who is one of the finest cinematographers working. He comes up with some very creative shots, and I think the film looks outstanding. That will always be a plus in my world when I'm evaluating films. How would it not? You're going to watch a movie on a big screen. It better look lights out, okay? So that's taken care of. Also, you have Florence Pugh. Arguably, I consider this to be her best performance yet, and it'll only get better for Florence Pugh. She is clearly one of the best talents, young talents we have in Hollywood, and she proves it again here with this film. Now, I know you're going to have issues with the film. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm going to say this before we get into comments. Don't tell me that Harry Styles is a laughable performance, and he doesn't. It's like a bad performance, right? We talked about this the other night with Amsterdam. And I'm not going to get into it again. We're not going to do that. Go back and watch the stream. But there are performances in Amsterdam that are When I watch Don't Worry, Darling, I'm watching Harry Styles, who is obviously a singer making the transition into acting. And he did a little Dunkirk. He did My Policeman that's coming out later, just debuted up in Toronto. And of course, here he's got a very sizable, very chunky role. Okay, so he's here, and I think he does decent. It's not an awards performance, but it's also not detracting from the film. Let's make sure that is absolutely stated as we continue along the evening here on Midnight Movie Talk. Right to the comments, your reaction to the film. Brian, hello. DR Movie News. And I want to get into it because I know you didn't like the movie as much as I did, okay? Sold out last second for me too. Had to sit in the front row. Gonna do a opening weekend. Drop like a rock week too. Okay, so that's the thing. This is going to have a lot of walk-up business because curiosity is very high. And I tell you here tonight, again, another prediction that's going to come true. Cinema score will be solid on this. It will not be a C. It will not be a D. It'll be somewhere in the B. It could, really, I think best case scenario would be A-. I really think you're looking at a B or B+. B+ would even be very good. I like the twist. I do not have a problem with the twist. It's not the twist I expected. I told you what I thought it was going to be. Someone mentioned it's going to be The Village. I said, oh God, is it going to be The Village? Well, it's not The Village. So we're not going to do the spoiler, but we're going to say it's not the village. I think it works. It feels now, okay? And I didn't say wow that feels phony. That doesn't feel like it's organically fused to the film. It feels like it works, and that was my take when I first saw it. I've only seen it once, and I probably will see it a second time at some time next week. Gone Girl is a solid effort from Olivia Wilde. I'm looking forward to her next project. I like it. The screenplay had some problems. We can agree on that. The editing on parts was shaky. The editing, but you can't. Cinematography is there. Okay. Score in and out. I think it's largely positive, but it's not, 100%. Wow, this is like Reznor Ross. By the way, speaking of that, we're going to get to a film that I just came out of moments ago, Empire of Light, Sam Mendes' very latest, awards hopeful. We'll talk about that in a moment, but I want to get all the Don't Worry Darling information and your reaction coming through here tonight. That's the importance of this stream here is you guys. Again, Brian, DR. Looks good. Story was awful and predictable. Score annoyed me as well. Harry Styles miscast. But how you didn't say anything about Chris Pine? Where is the Chris Pine stuff? In hindsight, Shia or Shia, I already forgot which one it is, was the better choice. I think for sure that's true. But if you want to sell tickets, Harry Styles was the right call. And remember that in Hollywood, it's not just about how well you perform in front of the camera. It's how well you perform at the ticket office, the box office, right? So Harry Styles, the Harrys, as they call them, the fans, they're going to come out in force and they're going to put this thing up to a number that I think is going to get into the 20s this weekend. I really do. And the other reason this film is going to outperform, forget the curiosity factor, yes. Harry Styles, yes. Florence Pugh, yes. You've got the situation we haven't had a big movie in a long time. Barbarian was, yes, a success considering what the budget was, a small budget horror film, but it's not an event film. This feels more like an event film, doesn't it? Right? People are talking about Don't Worry, Darling. Okay, not at an MCU level or DCEU, right? We're not doing that, but we're going to say it is a film that people are aware of, and that's hard to do in this day and age, as we've said so many times here on Midnight Movie Talk. To cut through the clutter when you have a film and to get attention on your product is not easy. There's too many other options, right? Right now, there's a zillion other options that you could be doing than watching MMT, but thank you for making that decision to be here tonight. Jay, I wanted to like this. Hold on, I lost you there. Hold on, let me push it. Here it is. I wanted to like this, but it was a dud. Screenplay muddled, especially as the twist is introduced. It looks far better than it is. Chris Pine, Pugh confrontation was fantastic. That is, I think, really Pine and Pugh. Those are the two. Pugh Pine, those are the best things about the film. And then you go into Matthew Libatique's cinematography, and I think those are the elements enough, and the screenplay works well enough. I didn't have the problem with the twist that you did. I know some people did. Here's the question I posed to you. If you didn't like the twist, would you have liked The Village better? Would you have liked that they're out here in the middle of nowhere, Palm Springs, and outside is 2022, and inside is 19, whatever the hell it was, 60 something, late 50s, early 60s. Would you like that? Because if we did that, then you all be like, it's The Village. So what do you want? What do you want for the twist? Okay. Bodie, good evening to you. Guess it's not playing at City Walk because of the Avatar re-release. That makes sense. As we do that, let's go back in here. I want to look at ticket sales right now. And I'm going to get to more of your comments. Here are ticket sales right now, live here in Los Angeles. This is the 10 o'clock Dolby. Let's pop it up. Look at this. This is a very solid looking. Hold on. Let's actually squeeze it back and I'll do this. Okay. So look, I mean, that's at least 65, 70% full for a 10 o'clock screening. This number tomorrow is going to be good. Now, I understand this is LA. I get it. LA is different. I always will cede that to you, okay? Let's go back and look at another one. So let's go. That's Dolby. Let's go to roll back. Here's Universal. So Universal, let's just pick the 10 o'clock since we're doing 10 o'clocks. 50% full, not bad. Here's the problem with Universal. For those of you who don't live in LA, if you go to Universal, you got to pay to park. And a lot of people don't want to pay to park. Burbank has zillions of free parking spots. So that's why I love Burbank too. Even though I think City Walk's cool, but I don't want to go up there to watch a movie. It's just too much work. Let's pick another one more, and then we'll continue with your comments. Let's roll down and let's go to Century City, which is the other major hub here for movie going. The Grove as well. Fine, we'll hit the Grove on the way. The Grove's on the way to Century City. Look at this. This is at least 70% full. Okay, Grove at 10 o'clock. Let's go to Century City, and then we'll wrap our tour of Los Angeles and screenings upcoming at 10 p.m. here on the West Coast. We need to do this. This is our new Thursday thing. Every Thursday, we will fish through random screenings, and we'll get it. Okay, here we go. Dolby, 10:30, outside Beverly Hills. Century City is unbelievable. The mall there, the Westfield Century City, is top of the food chain. I mean, when it comes to malls. Look at this. That's at least 70% full at 10:30 on this Thursday. Those are all really good signs. All of that is really good news for a film that is looking to put up a number here on this Thursday. Now, here's the other thing that's going to be good. Is if the film puts up a number tomorrow, right, we can go ahead and multiply. Usually the Thursday night number is a multiple. It can go anywhere, but in general, you're going to look at a number of like 8, 9, 10 multiple. So let's say it's at 3 million. So we would say, let's say an 8 multiple. That would be 24 million for opening weekend. Okay. Now, it's going to be very hard with Don't Worry, Darling, because you've got the Harry fans running out tonight. Is it going to be like hot off the top and then cool off throughout the weekend? That'll depend on word of mouth. That'll depend on how many people ran out tonight. But what I'm seeing tonight is we're going to get a good number tomorrow. When that Warner Brothers number comes out, I will tweet it out. I'll promise I'll have that the second it gets into my inbox. We'll have the number, and then we'll try to put a projection on it. But I think you're going to look at good numbers. We just saw all the stuff. Oh, sorry, I missed you, Trey, here. The film was decent, but the cinematography was amazing. Yes, Libatique always scores, okay? When you look at Black Swan, you look at Star is Born. There's so many things that Libatique has done. Go back. He literally has a catalog of films that is incredible. He's one of the best cinematographers. I saw another one here tonight, Roger Deakins. We're going to talk about Empire Light in a moment, but let's continue on Don't Worry, Darling. Aaliyah. I don't think it'll do well. It'll do well on the coast. What I see with my local theaters so far, not so good. It's like that with a lot of films. Okay, we know that. Like, great example, film we're going to talk about in a few minutes here, Empire of Light. That is a cinephile film, right? It's Sam Mendes. It's a period piece. It's a challenging screenplay. It's a beautiful film. But it's going to do better in New York and LA than it's going to do in Dayton, Ohio, right? And I still think, though, that Don't Worry, Darling, even though it is, I still think, of course, the coasts are going to do better for pretty much any film. I do believe that Harry Styles is not a coastal thing, right? I mean, there are kids in Indiana, in Illinois, and Kansas that listen to One Direction and Harry Styles. So they know who that is, and they know who Florence Pugh is, certainly from Black Widow, if nothing else. So I think that it'll play better than you think in places like Dallas, Texas, or Brian's down in Arkansas. Just salt of the earth, basic, fly over America. I hate saying that. I can't stand that. But it is, when you live out in LA or New York, it's like the flyover parts of the world. Harry Styles fangirls will go see this, and it'll help the film. No question about it, Gone Girl. I mean, there's zero. Award nominations for this. Good question. Julian, I would say cinematography is a chance. Score is a really outside chance. Florence Pugh would be your best shot. Chris Pine, I don't think so. He's the best of the supporting. I think you really look at Florence Pugh deserving to be in the conversation without question. I think this is a great example, and I'm really happy you asked the question. We talk about when you're looking at awards, you're looking to extract certain things from films. And in this case, when I watch Don't Worry, Darling, I'm able to extract Florence Pugh and Libatique cinematography. So those two things come to me, and I can use those if I want in awards perspective. I can say, hey, Florence Pugh, Don't Worry, Darling. Yes, absolutely. We can make her one of our nominees, or we can at least put her in contention for a serious look at one of those spots because she's so good in the film. So just because the film isn't a 10 or a 9, it's okay as long as the film is solid enough, which I believe Don't Worry, Darling is. Anyone who says Don't Worry, Darling's a train wreck or is unwatchable, again, you don't know what you're doing. I mean, straight up, you don't know what you're doing. You want to watch a train wreck? Watch Amsterdam. Okay, I said this in a tweet. I'm saying it again tonight. Said it the other night. Here it comes again. If you value Amsterdam over Don't Worry, Darling, you are done. You're finished in the film criticism game. It's over. It's game over. You will never have a voice in this ever again because you can't get it that wrong. This is subjective, but you can't be that wrong. You can't. And be taken seriously. I mean, you can keep doing it, but no one's going to listen to you. You're going to see Amsterdam and go, you you thought Amsterdam was good? Oh my God. Now that's funny. Gavin wasn't a fan. Muddled mess of elements from better movies. Reveal was awful and Styles was miscast. Joe Keery would have been better. Okay, listen, Gavin. Tell me why you don't like the reveal. I know we're dangerously close to spoilers, but I love one thing I really loved about Barbarian is the abrupt changing of gears, right? We're going to refresh. We are going to restart the picture right now. And when I watch Don't Worry, Darling, you have that restart. You're like, what the hell's going on? Why is Florence Pugh where she is? Okay. Didn't do a spoiler, but I did tell you exactly where we are. That worked for me. I go, okay, wait, I got it. Now, how is this all going to mesh into what is happening? And I'm not saying it's the best twist reveal. I'm just saying it is solid enough. I don't think you can say it's a terrible reveal. I do not believe that. I don't. I've seen really bad reveals. We've all seen them where you literally audibly groan. Not the case here. I just can't go with that. I can understand you having an issue with it, but I don't think it doesn't work. There's a difference between the two things, right? Brian, again, Chris Pine was all right. You're right about Harry Styles being a big box office draw. For sure. He's a huge draw, and that's why they wanted him in the movie. Producers want people to see their movies, and as long as he's not a liability to the film, right? As long as you're not bringing the film down around you because you're so bad, then you can keep working in Hollywood. I mean, I would argue Lady Gaga, she was very good in Star is Born, but she's essentially playing herself. When you ask her to do different things, we're going to find out with Joker 2. I think she's goodish in House of Gucci. I don't think it's a bad performance, but I also do not think it's an awards performance like we were talking about. I mean, to win Best Actress, I mean, that's just, wow, we're going way too far with that. So I think that whenever you have someone who is talented enough and doesn't stand out and doesn't detract from the film, then you're going to keep getting roles, especially if you have box office. So no matter what happens with the reviews, as we know, they're not very high. They're in the 30s or whatever on Rotten Tomatoes. But if this film turns out to be a hit from Warner's, which I expect it to be, at least an opening weekend in the 20s, I'm really thinking we're getting there. Look at these things I just showed you throughout Thursday night. We're looking really solid here in LA. Now, granted, I could pick out Dallas and we could go across the country, but I'm just using what I know down the street. And I'm telling you that these numbers are good. And if it comes back on Monday that Don't Worry, Darling was a box office outperformer, then Harry Styles stock goes up. It doesn't matter what the reviews were. It doesn't matter what you thought of the performance. At the end of the day, he sold tickets, and Warner Brothers or another studio is going to put Harry Styles in another film because he sold tickets. That's how the business works. That's how Hollywood operates, okay? So we can talk all day long about, how good a performance is, but as long as it's not a bad performance, then box office will save your ass every single time. Superhero movies. Eric does Don't Worry, Darling, Moon Age Daydream have exceedingly high moments in any aspects. Okay, Don't Worry, Darling, the height of that film for me is Pine and Pugh and that combative relationship, right? Them going mano a mano at the table, that scene's great. And I think some of the cinematography is very good. The ballet stuff that's interspersed. I think that those are high moments. And Moon Age Daydream, no question. I mean, Moon Age Daydream from an editing perspective, from an artistic value standpoint, that is wow. I mean, you really need to consider Moon Age Daydream for best editing, not best editing in documentary, best editing, period. Okay. So that's what we talk about when we talk about extracting things from films. I love Moon Age Daydream. I've seen it 3 times. If you've not seen it, you need to go see it. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. From my screen, women definitely much more favorably than men. Reality is Olivia Wilde made this for women. Jay, very good point. Studios love women going to movies. They want to see the female demographic come out because that is a big underserved demographic, okay? There's a lot of films that don't appeal to women nearly as much as men, like pretty much the entire MCU, okay? Look at the breakdowns. It's going to be more male than female. And in this case, you're going to see a female predominant crowd. And that is music to Warner Brothers and any studio's ears. They go, wait a second, we have something we can work with Olivia Wilde, with Florence Pugh, and with Harry Styles. Again, the box office performance will erase everything that you have seen from Spitgate to the reviews to Harry and Olivia's relationship. All of that goes bye-bye when this film outperforms, as it will coming up on Sunday when we get the number. Because it's just like in sports. When your team is struggling and the coach is on the verge of getting fired, your team wins and everything is cured. It's the panacea, okay? Because that is what this is. Box office cures all. Just like in sports, winning cures all. Drama had a big part in the marketing campaign. Brian, I would agree 100%, and Warner Brothers used it. And kudos to them for managing to somehow keep it together. And I think that it was interesting how we always talk about no publicity is bad publicity. Like any publicity is good, right? So ultimately, you really have this situation where there's a lot of bad stuff going around, but it just served to only intensify the interest level. And you're seeing it here tonight with the turnout from screens just around the corner. I mean, do it for me. Look at your local AMC app or Regal app. You're going to see the seats are pretty well sold for a Thursday. I mean, I'd imagine they're looking pretty good across the board. Granted, higher in New York and LA and Chicago and those places. I get it. All right, let's do a little transition here because we just did Don't Worry, Darling. And I want to bring in the next topic here tonight because I just walked out of Empire of Light. Empire of Light is Sam Mendes' very latest. This is a director, he doesn't need any, introduction. You guys know Sam Mendes. Obviously, the most recent film he had, 1917, huge winner, Golden Globe winner, and now didn't get the Oscar. As we know, Parasite ended up with that. But you look at Sam Mendes, you're talking about a director who's at the very top of when you list directors, you're putting Sam Mendes all the way up there. Let's talk about Empire of Light. Set in the 80s, Olivia Colman is someone who's dealing with mental illness, and she is working at a cinema along the picturesque coast of southern England. No spoilers. The film excels in the areas that have people that are outstanding in them, okay? I know that sounds strange. Let me explain that to you. You have Olivia Colman. So right off the bat, you're good, okay? You have Roger Deakins shooting it. So right there, you're good. You got two. You got two of the best at what they do. And the real icing on the cake, the thing that makes Empire of Light elevated to a film that might not have worked, certainly with a different director. But when you give it to Sam Mendes and you allowed these two to score it, you get a winner. You somehow got a winner, and it's Reznor Ross. When you get Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross scoring your film, there is a 0% chance that your film will not be elevated, not one level, not two, multiple levels up. And that is what happens when you watch Empire of Light. Within moments, you hear the piano keys of Reznor Ross composition, and you go, okay, we are in a different realm and a different level of expertise at scoring. And it is, I'm not kidding you. I am recommending Empire of Light on Coleman, on Deakins, and on Reznor Ross. As a screenplay, it does not fully coalesce. It doesn't. It's got a lot going on. It's got mental illness. It's got race relations. It's got all kinds of things. But when you have excellence in certain areas that are very important to your film, such as the lead, such as the person shooting it, and such as the person or persons scoring it, then you have a winner. Empire of Light will be a contender. Searchlight's going to run that thing. I think from a screenplay perspective, though, it's not going to be a big contender because it just doesn't fully work. But from a craftsmanship, yes, and yes. We'll talk about Empire of Light more as we continue over the weeks here. I just want to get out those initial thoughts. And I think that because you have such excellence in those certain spots of the film, you have a film you can work with. This is something I want to show you guys. Then we're getting to more comments. This is amazing. Wait till you see what I'm about ready to show you. This came today Hold on. I put it over here. Give me 1 second. You can all bask in the glory of the FYC screeners because I'm about ready to show you the most elaborate FYC item ever. Here it comes. I got to grab it. Give me a second. All right. Here it is. I've got it. Yeah. Luckily, it was close. Okay, so you guys know these are all FYC screening boxes, DVDs for the films they're trying to promote for awards. Okay, so today I get home and I get this gigantic box and I open it and it's a huge. I go, what is this? Okay, so look here. This says "Let Me Be Me." It is a documentary. And you can see it reveals what happens when a boy who used fabric as a shield to hide himself grows up to become a fashion designer, forging connections with friends and family along the way. Okay, this is a documentary about autism. Okay, I've not watched it yet, but I want you. Okay, so this is. It looks like like I don't know what was in here. What is? Okay, get ready, you guys. I couldn't believe this one. Wait. Okay, so this is what's inside. They literally mailed an introduction from, I believe this is, if it's not the director, I've not watched the film yet, but look at this. I mean, there's chocolate bars down here. I mean, this is the most elaborate and creative FYC item I've ever seen in my life. I mean, look at this. It literally just, you open it up and it's got like the trailer. It's got a message directly from the director saying, hey, watch my movie. I mean, that is super cool. And I'll be honest with you guys. If you want something like this, I have no problem with that. But you got to get me to 1,000 subscribers. When we get to 1,000, these things go out. I'm going to send these out. This is something you could have. I have no problem sending this out. I mean, I might eat the chocolate bars, but you can have the rest of it. During FYC season, we're going to show you stuff like this, which was super cool. So I want to give credit to the studio, to the publicist who put this out. Let Me Be Me. I mean, this is one of the most elaborate FYC items I've ever seen. So again, get me to 1,000, and then guess what, guys? I'll mail those to you. Not just anybody. You have to win. You have to answer a question or something. By the way, tonight's kit is Bournemouth, which was perfect for tonight because the south of England. It wasn't shot in Bournemouth, but Empire Light. Let's get back to the comments here on this Thursday night. Again, thank you for joining us here on MMT. Give me a like. You already subscribed. Give me a like. Thank you guys again for being here. Do you have to pay for parking at Century City? Never been, but I want to see them. Yes. Okay. I think I haven't paid the last few times. If you get it validated at AMC, you get 3 hours for free. So you're pretty good unless you go to see Endgame or you go to see something that is over 3 hours. So otherwise, and then it goes up for like $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. So it's just, for me, going to Century City is a pain in the ass. It's driving all the way across town. I'm in the Valley, and for those of you who don't live in LA, it'd be like, I can't explain like LA to someone who lives in Ohio, which is where I grew up. It's not far. If you look on a map, it's like 5 miles to Century City. The problem is you have to get across Los Angeles over one of the hills, over one of the canyons, or around. And on a Thursday afternoon, it's like a nightmare. So I'm like, it's rare that I'll drive over there. Although that said, hey, hold on. As I just bashed Century City, I'm going to see Smile Monday, Century City. We will have a stream Monday night, probably about 9:30, a little later. Because, of course, I'm at Century City. So I got to drive all the way back over here to Burbank. Then we'll have a stream about Smile. No spoilers, but heavy on thoughts about the film and is it scary? Does it work? That is on Monday night here at MMT. So that is confirmed. So, yeah, it's a cool mall. Listen, if you haven't been to Century City, Westfield Century City, the outdoor mall, has some of the best shops in LA. They have an Under Armour store, which of course I love. They don't have soccer kits, but I love athletic stuff. So I go into there all the time. Adidas has a shop there. I know the Tesla does. Zara's there, and the food court's unbelievable. And the thing about Century City, you'll always see a celebrity. Always, because it's right next to Beverly Hills, and it's in the area where a bunch of them live. Celebrities live right around there, so that's kind of their home base, right? AMC Burbank's for the regular folks like me. That's regular folk like me go to AMC Burbank. The hoity-toity folks go to Century City. The twist wasn't awful. Back to Don't Worry, Darling. It was the explanation that I struggled with. Without getting into spoilers, I want to see more backstories of the key characters. Yes, great point, Jay. I think that's fair. So the twist itself isn't awful. Good. Now we're working together. The explanation, yes, it doesn't quite make that much sense. Oh, I can't give it away. I get that. But again, this is where movie going comes in, where you just go, God, if we started doing this for so many movies where you go, that doesn't make sense. Imagine like watching a Marvel movie. That doesn't, the teleportation part of that, I'm sorry, I can't go with that. I remember this one time, Iron Man, the initial Iron Man, we saw an early screening of it, and I worked at a TV station with a guy named Erick. I'll never forget Erick. Funny as hell. Came out of the movie, he's like, I didn't like the movie. I'm like, why did you like Iron Man's amazing? Why'd you not like Iron Man? Who would leave him in a cave for that long to build his suit? I go, what? Derek, what are you doing? You can't say that, but that's what some people do. They watch a movie like Iron Man and say, why did you leave him locked in the cave so he could build his suit? Like, oh, Lord. So, Jay, come on, man. It's a movie. It's a movie, Jay. Stop being so hard on it. That's like my Allen Iverson thing. It's a movie. We're talking about practice. We're talking about a movie. Those of you who got that, got it. I'm a man. I'm 40. Yeah, those of you who got that, got that. Superhero movies, best movies. I'm no longer deducting points for movies being too long. So in reassessment, the Batman has gone from a 9.5 to a 10. Woman King, 7.5 to an 8. Filmmakers just aren't going to change it. Listen, it has to play a role. Because it's not the length that plays the role. It's the fact that you wasted my time. And I think when you watch The Woman King, for sure, there is at least 15 minutes of that film that needs to be sliced, just absolutely hacked out, chop, chop, bang, out. And I don't know where it is. I've got to go. If I was there tonight, so tonight, I went to see Empire Light over at Disney. So let you guys in on a little behind the scenes stuff. When you go to screenings on the lot, so I was over at Disney down the street, right here in Burbank. They have their screening room. It was the Frank Wells screening room. And typically in a lot of these screening rooms, they actually have the mixing board in the back, right? So the mixing board is there so they can actually mix the films in the room. So you're watching it in the room that was mixed in, edited in, sound, whatever is edited in, okay? So what I'm getting to is this, is that if I was in that room, because next to me was a pad of paper, because someone was clearly there, you can take notes, right? So you'd be watching The Woman King. I would, and one day it's going to happen, I'm going to get paid to literally sit down, watch the screening, take notes, and say, here's where you need to cut. This performance needs to be brought down because it's not good, and it just needs to be brought in a little like 145 instead of 2. Let's get it to 145. Let's cut that performance down. Let's get rid of that. It didn't need to be there. And now we have a movie. And you know what the funny thing is? I know this. I'm sorry. Call it cocky. I don't give a crap. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen enough movies where I can tell where something works and it doesn't work. Great example tonight, Empire Light. Empire Light is too ambitious. Sam, when he wrote this screenplay, Sam Mendes, he tries to do so many things with it, okay? From race relations to the mental illness aspects to, just the love of cinema. It's basically a love letter to cinema as well. But it's just got so many aspects to it that I think that if you would have actually just removed a lot of the story and really whittled it down to just a very lonely woman who works in a cinema, it would have been a better film. And when you see Empire Light, you'll see what I'm talking about. I really have always believed this, and there's a whole video about it on Film Courage if you haven't seen it. It's always less is more for me. Always. So when I watch Empire Light, I'm saying to myself, a screenplay that was less would have been more for Empire of Light, because you have too many things, too many situations pushed into the film, and it feels like you're trying to do too much. There's a beautiful aspect to simplicity, and I think a lot of directors lose that somewhere along the way. And I feel like simplicity to me is where I want to be. There's an elegance in simplicity, right? So that's where I'm always going to go. So it does truthfully come down to runtime, right? Because you're showing me stuff you don't need to. So it does affect the grade. Aaliyah, I thought Scott Mendelson said he liked Amsterdam. If he did, I don't know if he was kidding. Mendelson's coming on one night. I can promise you guys that. I'm going to get him on. And I'm going to start with that. When we have Scott Mendelson, it'll be a very special night. When we get to 1,000 subscribers, we are going to have Scott Mendelson on as a celebration, and I am going to attack him. I'm going to attack him for not liking Top Gun Maverick. That's one. And two, saying that Amsterdam is better than Don't Worry, Darling. The thing though, guys, I listen. I've said it so many times. Mendelsohn, the problem is he's such a likable guy. He's like he's I don't want to say harmless because he's not, that no, but he's just such a nice. He would never be the kind of guy who's like, yeah, like me. He's not like that. So to attack Scott Mendelsohn just doesn't feel right. It feels like you're attacking a saint, and I don't want to do that. So when he comes on, I will playfully have some fun with the fact that he likes Amsterdam more than Don't Worry, Darling, which is insane. Scott, you're insane, dude. Moon Age Daydream wasn't really a fan. That's disappointing. Gone Girl, the editing, no question. Listen, I grew up with Bowie, so the mileage is going to vary here. I grew up with Bowie in the 80s. So I grew up with Let's Dance, China Girl, Modern Love, certainly Labyrinth. Hello. Labyrinth's one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean, you don't know the impression that film made on me and Jim Henson. I think one of the biggest crimes of history was the fact that Jim Henson was taken off this planet way before he should have been. I think if Jim Henson were to continue making movies over the decade, let's just use another decade past when he passed away, we would have seen some things that were just, I mean, look at Dark Crystal, look at Labyrinth, look at Muppet Movie, look at what he did. That man was a visionary. So Bowie for me is really about that 80s, and I think he bleeds a little into the 90s, but for me that's where the film really takes hold. So I didn't really know a lot about Ziggy Stardust even beyond that, but what I like about Moon Age Daydream is the fact that it's not just really about Bowie, right? It is about David Bowie, but if you really are kind of letting yourself go and you're releasing yourself and submitting to the film, what you have wash over you is an ethos, which was David Bowie and getting every last drop out of life, right? I mean, the quote in the movie is, "I never want to waste a day." And I believe that. Me. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, that I believe that's essential. It's so funny. I wake up so many days and there's so much shit going on, right? I mean, stuff happens. Like today shit happened. Shit will happen tomorrow. But ultimately, I kid you not, every day I'll go to bed here in a little bit and I wake up. Every time I wake up, I just say to myself, I'm alive. Let's go make a good day. Let's have experience today. So like today, get out, do things, go to the gym, go out, see friends, go to a movie, watch sports, just get out there and experience things. And I think that's my life, ethos as well. So I think when I watch that film, I say, that's me. And I think that's what really hit me more than anything. So it wasn't really about Bowie. It was about his philosophy on living life. So yeah, but I understand. I get it, how it would not resonate the same way if you didn't have a connection to David Bowie. Reznor Ross kicked the door in the Social Network. Oh, I mean, Ken, you know how I feel about Social Network and the score. If that score is given to Alexander Desplat, or you give it to name any number of I'm going to say John Williams, for God's sake. Let's go someone who's current. Obviously, Alexander Desplat's like the first one that you always that always comes up in your mind. But if you give that to somebody other than Reznor Ross, hit me with someone. It doesn't even matter. The movie's not as good because of the score, and that's what happens with Empire of Light. Now, Empire of Light's nowhere near the movie that Social Network is, but because of the Deacon cinematography, because of the Reznor Ross score, and because of Olivia Colman and this young, I think it's Michael Dean, who's going to be up for supporting, very strong performance as well. Apologies for leaving him off earlier because he's really good. When you look at that, that's what makes the movie solid, okay? Is a great no, but the score is everything. God, that score is pretty. I can't wait to hear the score again. I can't. Did you ever listen to the Reznor Ross version of the Halloween theme? No, I need to. I will go do that. Thank you for it's unbelievable. Oh no, Gore, did you go see Bros tonight? I'm gonna see Bros next week. By the way, I'm gonna see Bros next Thursday. We'll do a stream on Thursday for Bros. I'll just see when it comes out. I'm not gonna drive across town. I had choice tonight. It was either drive all the way to Century City to see Bros, or no, the Grove, which is just as bad, or drive 2 minutes down the street to Disney. I'm like, I'll go to Disney. Not only that, but I also like Sam Mendes, so I really wanted to see the film, and I'm happy I did. Smash the like button. Thank you, Chris Gore. Please do so. It's wild that Nine Inch Nails is leading the way of film scores over the last decade, 100%, no question about it. I mean, if I had a movie that was like award worthy, or I thought was going to be of that ilk, I would pay whatever Reznor Ross wanted. Now, that said, I don't think it matters. It's not about money for Reznor Ross. Yes, you're going to pay them a lot of cash, but I guarantee you they pick and choose. They are choosy about what they score. They're not going to score every movie. Like, they're not going to score some random rom-com. They're going to say, if I were them, I'd say, first of all, let me look at the script. Who's directing this? Who's in the film? Because then I know, like in this case, okay, Sam Mendes is directing, Olivia Colman's in it, Roger Deakins cinematography. Yeah, you know what? We'll score this film. Because you know that every other element's going to be there. It would be the weirdest thing ever and what an atrocity if this happened, is that you had like a terrible film and then you had Reznor Ross score. Now, I will say again, the screenplay for Empire Light is not the strength of the film because it tries to do too much. And again, if it was simpler, it'd be much better. The secret screening of Smile, is that what it is? Or they're doing it Tuesday? What was the secret screening at Regal, you guys? I missed it. Wasn't it last week? Or was it this week? Or is it coming up? Is it Monday? Maybe it's Monday. I'm going to see it Smile on Monday. So maybe, only I'm at AMC, so I don't know. I know you're about movie talk. Consider sports talk. I could do that. At some point, we'll just open it up to anything. This will be called Midnight Life Talk. It doesn't have quite the same ring to it. It's not as alliterative, but so be it. Don't worry, darling. Domestic debut 2025. Kevin, I'm with you. I think 22. I'm going to go 22 here. 22. Let's go 10 minutes. We're going to go 10-minute warning. We're not even going an hour tonight. I'm exhausted. I love you, all of you, but I'm going to get ready for bed. Eric, I finally saw Firestarter. Love the opening interview section. Yes, it's very good. Had an eerie feel in their eyes. Love the feel of the very end beach scene. The beginning of the film, the weird thing about Firestarter, here comes part 2, is that the beginning of the film is actually pretty interesting. And then it just goes, what? Like just off into the no, you can't save it. It's gone. It is unredeemable. And the part where it all really turns is where the cat shows up. Right? Oh God, I'm gonna lose it. The cat in the alley, the cat behind the place, and she goes up and she gives it a look. The cat looks at her. She's like, and then the fire destroys the cat. Now that is, listen, no one is advocating animal abuse, okay? But the cat gets torched, scorched. I mean, this thing is burnt to a crisp. But yet, moments later, the fried kitty is on the ground. And the Zac Efron walks up and he looks at his daughter like, oh my, what'd you do? What'd you do? And they flash back to the cat. That's literally the cat is smoking on the ground. Like literally smoke is emitting from the carcass of the cat. And the cat goes at that point, everybody around me in Firestarter couldn't. I just went off. I mean, they were like, "What the hell are you like? What do you mean? That is the funniest thing I've ever seen. The cat is scorched. It's dead, but yet they inserted an ADR of." The actor that played Rainbird was terrible. The ending, yeah, the Rainbird guy was not great. The even worse was actually the agent, the lead bad lady. She was really not a great actress. That was a bad performance. But it's going to be one of my guilty pleasures of 2022, along with The Forgotten. What was another one? Oh, of course, Fall. But Fall is actually pretty solid. But it's still going to be one of my favorite movies of the year for the vulture scene. You guys, come on, man. If you haven't seen Fall, get with the program. Ooh, I think you're low. Bros is going to do better than 5 to 10. If it does 5 to 10, that's a terrible number. That is not good. Universal's hoping for at least 13, 15. That's my guess. They're hoping. I think they're hoping. They have promoted the shit out of this film. So they better get it up there. I understand that it's not going to work for a significant segment of the population. Let's just be real. That's what MMT likes to do. There's a segment of the population that will never see Bros. Okay, fine, so be it. We don't expect it to open at 130 million. But I think that we have enough interest in this country to get this thing to 13 million. At least 13 million on Bros. Get me there. That's too low. If it's 5 million, that's going to be a disaster. That's even though they'll tell you the budget wasn't much. I don't care. 5 million is not good for a film they've marketed that high. Black Adam promotional kick up to high gear with posters, trailers. Did you see that new? Hold on, let me pull it up. We're in the final phase here of MMT. Let me pull up the thing. Give me 1 second. So the other day, I'm driving over to the gym which of course I pass Warner Brothers on the way to the gym. And I look up and I'm like, whoa, what the hell is that? Look at this beautiful thing right here. I went by and I go, whoa, that is cool. This poster, I don't normally, sometimes I drive by and I don't notice. Like I'll see, oh, look, they changed it. I go by and I'm like, look at that. You know what's beautiful about this Black Adam poster? Is that billboard, whatever you want to call it, it's a poster. Is look, you've got The Rock, and you know how we always have all the faces on the actual poster, right? Hello, every studio does that. What's awesome about this is obviously you have the lightning bolt in the A, the second A for Adam. And if you look, obviously they created the characters to create a lightning bolt across The Rock. I mean, this is really high level artwork from Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers, at the end of the day, some of you guys are, oh, Warner Brothers this, Warner Brothers that. Let me tell you what Warner Brothers does well. They kick ass when it comes to promotions. Promotionally, I think they're the best studio in Hollywood. You look at that poster, you look at that, and you tell me that that is not exceptional. That is better than any other studio would not be able to do that. They would screw it up. Like you get this to Sony would come up with some kind of poster that was all jacked up. The faces would all be surrounding The Rock or some shit. It would look terrible. But this looks amazing. Look, we'll pull back. Here's angle number 2. This is the full shot. Look, I mean, it's a thing of beauty. I want to see the film. I already did. But if I come by and see that, I go, what the hell is Black Adam? If I'm just some rando like looking up at Warner Brothers, what is Black Adam? I want to see that. That looks good. Tell me that doesn't look badass. Hell yeah. A+, Warner Brothers. And all those of you who hate Warner Brothers, get out of here. Come into the comments and tell me why you hate it. Oh, God, no, don't do that. Do not do that. Do not do that. Ken, AMC Burbank, Thousand Oaks, ArcLight Sherman Oaks. I never went to ArcLight Sherman Oaks. They're closing already. Regal bought it, and they're already closing down. It's weird. That side of the valley should have something, but for whatever reason, they didn't go back. Burbank is the new movie HQ. That is where you go if you want to see a movie. Christopher Nolan goes there. All kinds of directors go to Burbank because the parking's free. That's 1. 2, every movie you want to see is there. 3, they have great premium screens. You have IMAX, you have Dolby, you have Prime, you have, obviously they have real 3D if they want it. But all the houses are good. There's not a shit house in there. You know how you go to some movie theaters, they're like, you're in theater number 9, it's all the way in the corner, and it's got like 6 seats, and the screen's slightly larger than 42-inch screen at home. And you're like, why the hell did I come here? Burbank doesn't play like that. This is movie capital of the world. Therefore, you better have your shit together. And they do. But it's the number 1 place right now. It used to be ArcLight Hollywood, but now it's Burbank. And frankly, even if ArcLight comes back, I still think people are going to come out to Burbank because, did I mention the parking's free? Listen, everything in LA is expensive. So if you can get free parking, you're going to take advantage of it. What opens bigger, Avatar or Black Panther? Black Panther, no question. None. Brian, no question. There's not even a question about this. Black Panther 2 annihilates Avatar 2. Avatar 2 is going to open fine. I'm just telling you guys, you're thinking like it's 2010, 2011, like right after Avatar. There's been time. Now, this weekend, we get Avatar again to regenerate some interest because the young people don't have a clue what the hell Avatar is. You guys are all in the mindset because you grew up watching Avatar. The young kids don't give a shit about Avatar. You guys got to understand that. By the way, that's a number of S-bombs tonight. I really apologize for the young children listening, all 0 of you. Listen, Avatar 2 is not a slam dunk. It'll do well, but don't come in here saying Avatar 2 is going to open at 200 million. I'm not saying you, Brian. Yes, I am saying you, Brian. Don't come in here and say that. Halloween Ends, domestic 45.50, not with it on Peacock. Well, the last one did that. Sin was on Peacock. I hope Universal changes their mind here in the last minute. They have like 2 or 3 weeks, right? Just put it in theaters for 17 days. Why are you doing this? Universal, okay, I get it. You want to have subscribers to Peacock. Do it in 17 days. They'll still subscribe. What are we doing, man? All right. 3-minute warning. Let's go rapid fire. Halloween Ends, domestic 45. We already got that. Sorry. When You Seen Bros next Thursday. Britain Thursday, I'm going to see it. I'm not going to see it before. I'll see it Thursday night with you guys probably. So Thursday night. Don't forget, Monday night, we are going to do, I already forgot the name of the movie. Smile. It's so simple. I forgot it. Smile. Monday night stream here, MMT. Sunday night box office, of course. But Monday, Smile. So be ready for that. No spoilers, right? I just gave you Empire Light tonight with no spoilers. Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth put us a lot through again. Isn't that true? So she's so gorgeous. Still is gorgeous. You kidding me? Secret Screen's Monday, so it probably is Smile. Does Cat Screen kill me? No question about it, right? Oh my God. Saw on Twitter, don't worry, darling, appears to be 3 million tonight. Okay, well, then that I said 3 to 4. So look, I didn't see this and I already came. I don't even need these experts. Of course, I am one. I have it at 20. I'm going to go 20. We will have it on Sunday night. Huge Don't Worry, Darling box office show Monday night with Smile. Next Thursday with Bros. We have the calendar set here on MMT. Get me a like, get me a subscribe, get me to 1,000, and I promise you guys, you can get cool FYC things like, even if you don't know what Let Me Be is, okay? One more time for those of you. This is the most impressive FYC thingy that I ever have received in the mail. I've received a lot of stuff over the years. This is for a documentary. Again, look at this. Open it. You get a message from the director that pops up on the screen along with the chocolate bars. I mean, this is really high-end stuff. Kudos again to the studio, to the publicist behind this. You can get this. Get me to 1,000 and you can have this. It's going to cost a ton to ship. This thing weighs it's got some serious weight. You can use it as a weight, paperweight. Guys, thank you. Good night. I'm done. Midnight Movie Talk's over. I'll see you on Sunday night. Good night. MMT is out.